Hello, people. Thank you for joining me. We're on a journey of trying to find this thing called wisdom, and we're in the right place. We're looking at the right person. We're looking at Solomon. We're in the right book. We're talking about Proverbs. We find ourselves in Proverbs chapter 2 today, and it gives us a great insight into where wisdom is found and how we do it. Let me read to you the first few verses of Proverbs chapter 2. My son, remember, this is like wisdom, like your mom speaking. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom, something you hear, and applying your heart to understanding. We've moved from the head to the heart. And if you call out for insight, there's a key word, and cry aloud for understanding. And if you look for it, let me say it again. And if you look for it as for silver and search for it, let me say that, and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. Let me say this, folks, just listen carefully. Wisdom is not something you bump into and you suddenly become, oh my word, now I've found wisdom. That's not true at all. Wisdom is a search, a lifelong search. I find it interesting that it's not a commodity. It's a process that we undergo in order to be able to find this beautiful place where wisdom can be said of us. Now, I almost think that wisdom is something that it says there, that you search for it as for silver and gold. I remember hearing about a guy probably in Texas or something like that, where he was a rancher, and not a very good one. He was battling with his ranch until one day he found that he had oil underneath the soil of his ranch. And so he began to dig, he began to drill, he began to bore down until he hit the oil. Everything changed. Everything changed. You see, the oil was not on the surface. The wealth for him in his life was not found on the surface. He had to dig for it. And I think sometimes that's kind of like us in our journey to find wisdom. We have to dig for it, and it's hard work. We have to search for it, and it's a really good thing to do. So when we're looking for wisdom, we have to look deep down into the face of the earth, and we have to look down into the context of our lives and the situations that we find ourselves in. We need to listen, as she said, to the people's stories around us and take them into consideration, thinking, man, that could be me. And if I could just think along those lines, learning from others, learning from history. Apparently, the only thing we learn from history is that we never learn from history. And if I look at other people's lives and the history of my own life, the sad thing is that I'm a slow learner, man. I'm a very slow learner. If I could just learn from the history of my own life, learn about the mistakes that I have made and not make them again. I wish that were true of me. I wish it were true of all of us, but we have to acknowledge that sometimes we just are very slow learners. But we search for this. That's where wisdom is found. It's not found by the casual looker who's just conveniently looking, well, let me check it out, see what I can find. It's a lifelong, very deep, sacrificial search that is required. We spoke at the beginning of our series, did we not, about the wise men who came from the east searching for the treasure of the Messiah. It was a long haul. They walked a long way through a dry and dusty place. They persevered in all that they were doing. I wonder if some of them didn't think, oh, this is too hard, I'm going back. But some persisted. 3 of them came through the dust and the mud and the heat of the day, and they found their treasure. They found Jesus. It required a long, consistent, hard, and sacrificial search. So if wisdom is not found by the casual looker, where do we find it? We've already said that we find it in life, do we not? We learn from the things that happen to us. But actually, at the end of the day, there's no substitute for finding it in the Word of God. And this wisdom will lead to knowledge. I used to think that knowledge led to wisdom. Apparently not. You see, wisdom happens when understanding becomes a reality because we begin to do that which we understand. And understanding is a product of something where we apply that which we have heard and read and seen. Now we're on a journey to find understanding. The opposite is also true, that understanding begins in our heads and moves down into our hearts when we begin to apply it. And that's what makes wisdom such an incredible thing to journey after. I hope that you young people out there will embark upon this journey to find wisdom. Start now. Don't wait till you get 40 years old and then you think, well, I need to wise up a little bit here in life. Don't do that. Start now while you're in your teen years. Search for wisdom. Look for it. Find it in people. Ask questions and read the Bible. It's God's source of wisdom and knowledge. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.